Hello dear Craftworldians, Marco with you and welcome to the new tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to paint some forest base. The first paints I'm going to use is sienna, burnt umber, moss green and primary red. And I would like to apply wet blending directly on the base. So what I'm doing is I loaded the brush with sienna and burnt umber and a bit of water, and I'm placing it directly on the base. Then I will take a bit of green, a bit of red and mix them until all of the recesses are filled. Keeping in mind that I want to leave these small mushrooms more into the brown and red tones, while the leaves will have more green, as well as the rocks. So I will continue this until I have a nice layer over whole base. I don't want to leave any white on it. Make sure that you don't mix paints completely, because if you do, then it will turn just in one brown tone, and we don't want that. We want to be this, even though they are translucent, we want to be visible for this underpainting. And let's make these mushrooms venomous. So I'm choosing red. Also, I'll be using some of the Naples yellow to create the base tone for the mushrooms, as well as on the leaves. But this is just the underpainting, the real highlights are going after this stage. Even though I will get very brownish underpainting, there will be some pigments of red, green and yellow visible. You can see it here. It's not completely dry, but it's getting there. So when it dried out, the paints are darker. They lost some of the vibrancy, but that's all right. We're going to build vibrancy with highlighting. I want to add extra shade on the mushrooms. They have very small texture, so I'm going with very thin layer over them. I also shade underneath some of the leaves. Maybe if I see some of the white still visible, I just go there and retouch a little. I'm retouching the recesses with sienna and umber. Time to do some highlighting, and I'll be creating some orange tone by mixing sienna red and yellow. And my brush strokes will follow the texture of the leaf, so just going in this direction. This way you will get more natural feeling. Don't be afraid to add some green as well. Maybe some of those leaves are still not dry yet, so they have some green in them still. As well, that green can be moss, so there anything is possible. So just continuing building the highlights on the leaf, following the textures. So let's make some leaves a bit more brighter by adding more yellow in the mixture. So let's paint now the mushroom stem. And for this I'll be using the mixture of Naples yellow and a bit of brown. So I've kind of created this uh, very bright looking ochre. I don't want this to pop out too much, just a little bit. And now for the mushroom heads, I'll be using more sienna, umber, and maple yellow. And I kind of want to do some kind of steeping, create a texture of it. Again, not too much, we just want to be nice and subtle, making almost like realistic look. With thin glazes and overlapping layers, it can create very natural tone. So just doing the highlights on each cap. A bit more of steeping and more highlights. What do you think? Are those mushrooms tasty or not? I'm sure that the red ones are not. So for the rocks, I decided to make them look mossy and green. So in this mixture, I added more green. This will also help me to separate them from the rest of the base. Just love the effect of slimy green rocks. Since they are slimy, as it said, this means they are more reflective. So I'll be using stronger highlights on them. And you can see I'm using both vanilla white and Naples yellow to do the highlighting. It looks pretty simple yet very effective. So with the tip of my brush I'm just following the texture of the rocks. If you're by chance painting some rocks that don't have texture, you can use your brush strokes to make it look more interesting. I will also do some little glazes of green moss to make these roots look more mossy, and then I will do some highlighting on them as well by using the mixture of brownish tones and yellow. then again back on the green moss, even doing some splashes of green to imitate the actual moss. Some more highlighting on the roots. Increasing the vibrancy of the red on those two mushrooms. Make them look more dangerous. And now just to retouch some other details, leaves and roots. I can almost imagine some adventure wandering here. What story do you read from this base? And that's it. This is our forest base. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you try it out, let us know on our Discord channel or by tagging us on social medias using hashtags Craftworldians, Craftworldians, underpaintingminis, and overlapping layers. Thank you all for watching, and until next one, bye bye.